Welcome to Crafty Beach. This is Julie. Today I have 4 coastal farmhouse Easter DIYs using supplies from the Dollar Tree. Here is a little sneak peek of the 4 DIYs that we're going to make today. I made 3 wall hangings and 1 centerpiece. And I just love how they turned out. They're so beachy and I can't wait to show you how I made them. So let's get started. First, I am going to use one of these wood egg signs from the Dollar Tree. I have one of it's just a rectangular sign left over from the Dollar Tree, Hippity Hop. This is the one that had like the little bunnies hanging on the front that I used the bunnies for my pennant banner for my Easter coffee bar. And so I am just going to use this sign for the background of our eggs. First thing I'm going to do is just cover the back. I'm going to cover it with some of this removable wallpaper from the Dollar Tree. I love this like white board print. I think it looks really coastal. I know not all Dollar Trees carry this. Only like one of mine does carry the removable wallpaper, but it is so nice. If you don't have it though, you're going to be able to get the same effect if you just go ahead and you could paint it white and distress it, and you could even do like the lines with like a ruler. It'll give you that same kind of background, or just a white background in general, I think would look really good. So I'm just going to smooth that all down, the wallpaper, and it's a little bit bigger than the sign. So I'm just going to use one of those sanding blocks from the Dollar Tree, and it's going to give me a perfect cut along the edges. And such an easy way to DIY a sign. And I'm just working on the back of the sign. That way I don't have to worry about any of the glitter or anything that was on the other side. But first I want to rough it up. So I'm going to use that same sanding block over all of like the lines between the boards to soften that up and to make it look a little bit less glossy, a little bit more coastal. So I'm happy with how that looks. That I want to use the same holes for the hanger, so I'm just going to poke those through my wallpaper with just one of those little Cricut weeding tools. And this background for the sign is ready to go. I really love layering the Dollar Tree signs because they're so thin, it gives you a much more substantial piece. So here are our eggs. I'm just going to start by removing that rope at the top and filling the holes with spackle. I'm going to decorate the back of these as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill it from this side because this is going to be the back. And you're not going to be able to see that part. And I just go ahead and dry that spackle. Now I want to cover the center egg with burlap. So I'm just using some scrap burlap I have left over from Walmart. Very cheap to get it there that way. And I'm going to draw what I can with a Sharpie. And then I'm going to have to fill in the missing pieces here and do my best to get like an egg shape. And that's going to give me the perfect cut for to cover that egg. I thought it would be fun to give just some more texture by making one of the eggs covered in burlap. And this sign turned out so cute. I love it. So we got that all cut out. I'm just going to go ahead and try to trim up any orange Sharpie that I can see there. I hate to use Sharpie on those, but it's so hard to draw on them that it's pretty much the only thing that seems to work. Okay, so here is our wood Easter egg sign. And we're going to work on the back. But the first thing I want to do is to try to make it look like driftwood. So I'm going to stain it with some Antique Wax by Waverly. And I know I'm going to cover the middle one, but that's okay. I'm just going to go ahead and stain all of them just to make it easier. And I'm going to go over the whole thing. It's going to give me like this medium wood finish, but I will lighten this up a little bit. So once I get it all on there, it's so easy. All you have to do is take a paper towel and wipe off the excess. And then again, I want to just lighten it up a little bit, make it look a little streakier, more like a little rough driftwood. So I'm just going to take some ivory acrylic and a chunky brush And I'm just going to kind of weather that all over. Then I'm going to go back in here with a baby wipe and just wipe that all down. And it gave me just a much softer wood color. And that's exactly what I was going for. So and now we can get ready to cover the center egg with that burlap. I'm just going to do a really thick coat of matte Mod Podge from Dollar Tree. And try to get it thick enough that's going to keep that burlap down. And I'm just going to use my little Cricut brayer to try to smooth that down. I had a little wrinkle here at the bottom, so I had to use some extra glue down here to get that to stay down. And then to make sure that it stays glued, I'm just going to go ahead and do a nice coat of Mod Podge all over. And this is going to dry, and you're not even going to be able to tell. I love covering stuff with burlap. It almost is the same exact shade as the wood that we stained on the sides, but when you're up close, you can really tell the difference of all the different textures. So once I get a good even coat on there, I go ahead and dry that with my heat gun, and we are ready to attach our eggs to our sign. I left the little wood bump out pieces here on the back. I thought those would be the perfect places to use hot glue to attach this to our sign. And it's going to give us a slight 3D effect by having the egg stick out from the sign just a little bit, making the sign even thicker. And also, when you put the two signs together like this, if they're warped at all, a lot of times that will fix that and straighten it out. Now, this is the rope that we're going to use. I'm going to take the wider white rope from the Dollar Tree, and I am going to unwind it into the 3 strands to give me some smaller rope to decorate our egg. And I'm just going to do a little zigzag pattern, a little swirly pattern. It kind of comes out kind of bent like that anyway from being wrapped around into a braid. And I'm just going to glue that down into a little squiggly pattern for the top of our egg. And I cut off the excess. I kind of want the center burlap egg to have like squiggles on the top and the bottom, with like some decoration in the middle. So once I have that good and arranged, I just keep messing with it until I like how it looks. I'm going to do the same exact thing for the bottom squiggly row. I find that it works better to do it all in one shot, but you do have to be quick because you're going to have to beat the drying time for your hot glue. So I did the same thing there on the bottom. Just adjusting until it looks kind of even and everything's glued down well. Now I want to make some decorations. I'm going to use one of these molds that I found on Amazon. I will post a link below because I kind of want a small starfish and I don't really have a starfish that size. But while I'm at it, I thought I might as well try to make a seashell too. I want 2 decorations about this size to decorate the egg. So filling the seashell with my hot glue gun was really easy. Now the starfish was very fine and delicate, so maybe if I had a smaller hot glue gun, it would have been easier. It was a little challenging to get that filled in there. But I do clean it up a little bit, and then I just pop this silicone mold in the freezer for a few minutes to harden up, and we're going to have some decorations for our egg. So the starfish one was done first. It was kind of smaller. Turned out pretty good. I'm going to have to do a little bit of trimming on it. I went ahead and put the shell back in the freezer because it wasn't quite ready yet. And then I'm just going to go in and trim up this starfish. Again, I did have a little trouble filling this one. I'm just trying to make the legs look clean and even them up a little bit. It does provide such a fun texture. I've done this with the seahorses for one of my Valentine DIY videos, and I was just blown away that you can make stuff like this. I love this hot glue hack. And this one did require a lot of trimming because I wasn't real clean with this. And then I'm going to go ahead and get the shell out of the freezer. And I didn't get it completely full, so it's a little jagged looking, but that kind of makes it look more real because shells really don't break evenly. So I'm going to trim it up as well. And then I'm going to use those in combination with a sand dollar that I have. I get those on Amazon in the middle, and I think they're going to be great. But I want them all to be the same color. I kind of want to go with a brown and white theme today for my DIYs. And so I'm just going to go in with some ivory acrylic and paint our little seashell the same color as my sand dollar there. And these are kind of my medium-sized sand dollars that I get on Amazon. I get a couple different sizes, but I'll post a link below for those as well. Now I'm just being very careful and making sure I get all the edges painted ivory as well. And then once I get them all painted, I'm going to go in with my heat gun and very carefully try to dry those. I don't want to melt that hot glue. And we have some decorations for our first Easter egg. So I'm going to use hot glue to attach the little sand dollar to the center of our little burlap egg. And then I'm going to use our little shell that we made and hot glue that on next to it. And again, it looks a little jagged, but that's okay. I kind of like it like that. It adds some more character. And then finally, the little starfish that we made. And I'm really happy with how those two things turned out. And now our first egg is all decorated. Now when it comes to the other Easter eggs, I'm going to decorate those similarly, but like in a different kind of pattern. Just cleaning up any excess hot glue there. And we're going to use some of these little tiny seashells. These are the ones that you get at the Dollar Tree in the little tiny glass bottles. And I'm going to use like the white and tan ones. And I'm going to kind of do like a polka dot pattern for this egg, but like instead of polka dots, it's polka shells. So I'm trying to find ones that are similar in size, similar in color. I really want to stay with this like ivory and a brown or tannish brown color for all the DIYs. So I think that looks pretty good. Now all I have to do is start hot gluing these to the wood sign. Whenever I hot glue shells, I kind of put some hot glue along the inside of that rim and let it drip over to the like outside rim, and it glues down the top of the shell really nicely. I don't worry about trying to glue the bottom part because again, that hot glue is going to dry really fast, and I think that it's going to stay really secure like this. So I am just finishing that up, and I thought maybe one more because it's a little bit wider down on this side. And this Easter egg is complete. Now on this other side, I thought it would be fun to do like a set of polka dots. We're going to do polka starfish on this side. I'm going to use these little tiny starfish. I get these on Amazon. I can post a link below, and I love them. I thought at first when I got them that they were so tiny I would never use them, but I'm almost out of them because I love them. I use them all the time. I'm going to have to order more. So again, I'll post a link below to these. They're so great. And that little organizer that I got there is from the Dollar Tree in the toy department, and it's great for sorting out those little tiny shells from the Dollar Tree because they have lots of different kinds in those little glass bottles. So I'm kind of doing a similar pattern on this side. We're going to lay out all those little tiny starfish. They're very lightweight because they're like real little starfish, and so all it's going to take for this side is just a very small drop of hot glue to attach those, and just going kind of in the pattern that I had them laid out, and trying definitely to stay with a tiny dot of hot glue because I don't want any of that excess hot glue to seep out the sides. And this little Easter egg is complete. I love how it turned out. It's so cute. I love all the different textures and all the different sea life on here. Now, I thought it'd be fun to replace the hanger instead of just twine using some of this wood bead garland from the Dollar Tree. I got this fall at the Dollar Tree. It's the only time I've ever seen it. But if you wanted to do the same thing, you can totally get wood beads on Amazon and make your own, or you could just use the twine. Just stringing that through and tying it off on the back, kind of measuring out how long I want that to be. Trying to give myself enough twine to work with there at the end so I have enough room to tie it. And also leaving enough room so that the wood bead will sit on the outside of the sign and not kind of overlap it. And that's another little fun touch to this. It totally goes with the color scheme. And the only thing I have left to do is to make a bow for this sign. And check out this cool ribbon that I found at the Dollar Tree. They had this in several different colors, but I think this color is perfect for this project. It's a really, I don't even know how to describe it, strange looking ribbon, but it reminds me of like fishing net. So I think it's going to look really cool for this DIY. So let me unroll it and show you what it looks like. See how cool that is? So I thought I would make a large bow for the top of this sign using this cool ribbon. So to make it, I'm just going to pinch a tail and do a loop on both sides of our bow. You don't have to worry about turning it because there's no right or wrong way on this ribbon. And a second loop on both sides, trying to make them about the same size. Again, just pinching it in the middle, and I wanted to do a nice big bow, so I'm going to go ahead and do a third loop on each side, and then cutting off a second tail for that. Now, normally I would use a zip tie to put a bow like this together, but then I would have to hide it. So I'm just going to use some of that twine from the Dollar Tree and cut off a little piece of that, and I'm going to tie that tight right here in the middle. Trying to tie it without letting go and cinching that off. And I just tie it and flip it and tie it again until it's really nice and secure. And then I can use that twine to attach it to our sign. So just fluffing up my bow and pulling down the two ends of my tail, evening up the tails. And look how cool that bow turned out. I love this ribbon. It's so cool. I'm definitely going to have to get more. So I'm trying to figure out which side. I think it's going to look better over on the right side. And I'm going to use that excess twine from tying it to tie it onto the hanger. And this is the perfect final touch for this DIY. I can't remember all the different colors. I picked up a couple colors of this cool ribbon, but I really like it in this tan color for sure. And that's all there is to this DIY. I love how this turned out. It's got so many different little textures and beachy vibes happening here. This is how it looks in my dining room. I have it right next to my garage, so we can totally see it a lot, and I love how it turned out. Okay, up next, we're going to do a rope carrot. I got this great carrot reform at the Dollar Tree, and I thought this would be really fun to cover with rope. We're going to use a couple different kinds of the white rope from Dollar Tree. I'm going to use one of those strands left over from the previous DIY, and then also some of this thinner white rope. This is the 11-foot white rope. Most of the carrot's going to get covered in this one. Now, this is a pretty simple reform. Like, it doesn't have a lot of wires, so I can't really do like any kind of weaving or any kind of pattern. So we're basically just going to go with the wire structure that's on there and use hot glue to attach the rope. This is not very thick, but it's definitely wide enough to cover the orange wire. And I'm just going to work one section at a time with my hot glue gun there. And try to get it stuck tight and also try to make sure you can't see the orange wire behind it. It's really good to work with a silicone mat with hot glue like this because it won't stick to it because unless you have kind of a fine tip hot glue gun, it's going to kind of go over the sides of the wire when you do this. But simply, we're just going to work around in that outline of the carrot. I'm going to cover most of the orange surfaces there, I guess all of the orange surfaces with rope. But I'm also going to decorate it with more of a coastal feel as well. But you could always just leave it as the rope. I just wanted it to be a little bit more decorated. So we got the outline done. Just cutting that off and gluing down the tip. And I'm also going to use that same 11-foot rope for the stem part of the carrot. Just trying to clean up any excess hot glue, any strings with my hot glue gun. And we're just going to do the same thing here at the top. Basically, any of the ones that are pretty easy. I'm also going to do the little straight lines there in the center of the carrot with this small rope. And then I'm going to use the leftover strand of the wide white rope for the little zigzag patterns. So just finishing that one off. I would like to thank you for watching this video today. If you like my DIYs, please feel free to hit that like button. After you've watched all 4 of my DIYs today, I would love it if you would leave a comment below. Tell me what your favorite DIY is, or just to say hi. Also, we have a Facebook group called Crafty Beach. I have it linked in the description below, and we would love to have you join us over on Facebook. I would love to see what you're crafting. And I'm also on Pinterest and Instagram. I'll post all of the links below. I would love to see you over there on those other social medias. So we got all of the thin rope sections done, and now we can get started on the little zigzag pattern. It's kind of very similar to what we did on the eggs and the same kind of rope, so it's going to kind of tie in together. And I'm going to hang this carrot with our little eggs that we made before underneath of it in my dining room. And it looks really cute as is with just the rope like this, but I am going to decorate it just a little bit more just to make it even more special. So just zigzag like that. You can see why I'm using that thinner strand on this, because that would be really hard to get into this crazy pattern like this with the actual rope. And this worked really nicely. And it's like the same color of white. All the projects today are that like driftwood and ivory, and they all really go together really well. So we're just going to finish this one up, and then we'll be ready to start decorating it. I think my iPhone is trying to April Fool's prank myself, because I already did this voiceover and my video editing app decided to delete almost all of it. So here we go again. I'm trying to get this video out today though. And so this is the first thing we're going to use to decorate is some of that driftwood filler from Target. I thought that would be fun to decorate like the stem of the carrot with. And this is what it looks like. It's back with like their vase fillers with their like home decor items at Target. And it's normally $10 a box, and it's on sale right now for $8.50. So I'm definitely stocking up because it is great to craft with. And I'm just going to glue it onto the top rope and the bottom rope and just kind of piece this in. I'm going to leave the rest of the carrot form like open, the different openings, but I thought it would look fun to kind of block in the stem and add another coastal touch by adding some driftwood. It's a nice light color of driftwood. It's really easy to craft with, and it's real clean. It's definitely not real driftwood. My real driftwood looks nothing like this. But just gluing that last piece in, and I love that little effect. Up next, I thought we could use some of these tiny little seashells from the Dollar Tree and kind of line the little straight line ones. Rope with, so I'm going to use some of the little white shells, and I'm going to line that top row. I'm just going to kind of alternate like what direction they're going and glue those on as I go. Those things are so small that they're real easy to hot glue on just by adding a dot of hot glue there. And I'm just trying to keep with the same like kind of shell and the same like color as we work across there. Then I thought for the other straight row, I would add like a different kind of seashell. So again, we're going to use some of those tiny seashells. This time we're going to use these little cone-shaped ones. They're kind of like a tannish brown. And I'm going to attach those the same way with hot glue, just working across. I'm going to have them kind of all point to the left a little bit, all kind of in the same direction to kind of form a pattern. And this is going to be the last little touch to this little carrot. I'm not going to add a hanger or anything like that because the wire top there with the stem is really easy to hang. I'm just going to hang it on a nail, and I'm going to kind of hang it by one side of that stem to make it hang kind of crooked, if you will. So it turned out really cute. I love the little extra touches that we added to it with the seashells and the driftwood. And let me show you what it looks like hanging in my living room. Oh, dining room. Here it is. And I think it turned out so cute. What do you think? Okay, up next, we're going to do a hop sign. So we're going to use all these things I got at the Dollar Tree. A little egg that was in a 2-pack, a hop sign, because I want that H and that P, and then one of these little wood long signs with a bunny cutout. So the first thing I want to do is to get the H and the P off of this sign. This is a great way to get large letters like that because so much more inexpensive than buying them individually. So I'm just going to use my cutting mat and one of these straight edge cutters and try to cut through that wood. It's, kind of like a presswood cardboard. So if you cut through it several times, you're going to be able to pop it off. And then I'm going to try to trim up any like excess. It's almost like cardboard. Still remaining, and then sand it to get it like a straight line over there. The H and the P both come off pretty easily, and I'm not going to use that bunny for this project, but I'll save it because it's really cute. But I wanted some way to spell out hop, and I didn't really want to use my Cricut for this. I kind of wanted some 3D letters on top. So again, just touching up that P after I cut it off and sanding it. Now, I was thinking about leaving the letters just as they are because they look very coastal with that white board. But I did kind of mess them up a little bit when I was cutting them, and they did have a little glitter on them. So I wasn't 100% happy with them. So I do end up covering them because I want them all to match with the little egg as well. And so I'm going to use some more of that removable wallpaper from the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to use that same pattern that we used before. And so they'll coordinate well together because this is going to go in my dining room as well. I am just using a pen and drawing the pattern on the back of the wallpaper. Makes it super easy to cut out. And then we can recover this H. And again, if you want to leave it the way it was, you totally can. This is just me being extra and trying to make everything really coordinate well together. So super easy to cut this stuff out. I wasn't sure my line was actually on a line there, but I think that's going to look really cute. So making sure I got it on there going the right direction. I'm also going to sand the edges so none of that blue really shows through around the edges if I don't get it on there perfectly. And going to peel off the backing of that wallpaper, and we are going to recover the H. Super easy. And then we are going to do the same thing here with the P. So I'm kind of making sure that my letter is going the same direction as it can just sit right on top, so I don't have anything going the wrong way there. And again, just cutting out the P, and we can recover this as well. Kind of have to fold it to get the middle part of the letter out. And then I'm going to cover the little egg with the same wood wallpaper. And again, just sanding the edges, trying to get the pink off the very edges. And everything fit really well with the letters. Now that blue egg was part of a 2-pack. They had those in all different colors at the Dollar Tree for Easter. And I thought that would be a really cute O for the hop sign. It's a little bit smaller than the H and the P, but basically it's as big as it could be and still fit on that Dollar Tree a bunny sign. So again, just drawing that on the wallpaper and cutting it, pulling it off, and sticking it on. Can't get any easier than that. If you get any overlap on the edges, it's real easy to sand that off with a sanding block. And then I'm also going to sand on top like I did before to kind of like soften up those lines between the boards and give it more of a little beachy feel. And this sign was so easy to put together, and it turned out really cute. And I kind of have a skinny wall in my dining room, and this is going to be perfect because it's a long and skinny sign. So this is the long sign with the bunny. I also have this like in the light blue with the Easter egg cut out. I thought about doing it on that, but I was kind of wanting to work with the brown and the white. So just like I did before, I'm going to replace the little hanger with some of that wood bead garland from the Dollar Tree, just to kind of coordinate it with the other project that we did and really tie it in. I really love the look of a wood bead hanger. So the only problem I had with this is like the holes there for the twine were a little bit bigger than what I was working with before. And so I was trying to tie it like enough where it won't go through the hole and to make it strong. But I was a little worried it was going to fall off, so I did use a little bit of twine to tie on the back of that to kind of make that knot bigger so that it won't fall. I don't want my sign to fall. And that totally helped the problem once I get it on there right. There we go. And now we're ready to attach our HOP, hop letters, onto the little sign. So if I put the H right underneath the bunnies, I can get it all to fit. If I have the O kind of like point off in one direction, it's a perfect fit. So just attaching the letters with some hot glue. I have to get as close to that bunny as I can. So I'm going to do the H first, and then I'm going to go glue on the P because I really don't want that to overlap on the bottom. And then I'll know how I can fit my little egg in the middle by how much room I have left. So I'm going to kind of tilt it to one direction and just again attaching that with hot glue. Super cute. Now I did want to take it up a notch and add a little coastal touch, and so I'm going to add a sand dollar, and this is one of the large ones. I get these on Amazon, but you could also use the ones from Dollar Tree. I'm really excited about that stuff coming back. I got a lot of sand dollars and starfish last summer at one of my Dollar Trees, and I swear I am going into Dollar Tree every day looking for that stuff, and they don't have any here yet. I can't wait. And that's all there is to it. This sign was so easy, and this is how it looks in my dining room. I think it turned out so sweet. What do you think? Okay, our last DIY. I got this great tray at the Target dollar spot for, what's that say, $5. And I thought this would make a really good centerpiece for my table. And it's got like, you know, we're working with that same like brown and white color, but I thought I could make like just a fun little tropical Easter display, something low to put on the center of my table. Now to start with, I kind of wanted it to look like a nest. And so I'm going to use some of this Spanish moss from the Dollar Tree. And it was kind of all clumped into that little bag, but there was actually a lot in there. If you kind of just break it apart and drag it around, and that's going to be a great starter for our centerpiece. And then I got this white bunny at Target Dollar Spot as well for $5. It's $5 because it's really large. And I thought about sitting it in the center, but I think I'm going to like sit it over here kind of to the side. And then we'll build this display up around him. I've never done a centerpiece in a tray like this, but I really love how this came together. So these are some of the gold eggs from the Dollar Tree. I thought the gold color would be great because it would be very neutral and go with my color scheme. And so we're going to use 2 of those 6-packs from the Dollar Tree. I'm not going to do anything to those eggs. We're just going to cut open the cartons and drop them all in our little centerpiece. Now, I wanted it to look a little bit tropical, so I got some of these little palm fronds from the Target dollar spot as well. $3 for 5 of them, which is actually a pretty good deal because they're really nice quality. But you can also get some things like this at Dollar Tree now. They've been having a lot of like packaged little sprigs like this and like different like tropical leaf patterns. So you could totally use either or, but Target dollar spot has some really pretty ones right now. So I am going to use all 5 of them. They are a little too long though, because it's not a very deep, centerpiece, but I kind of want to have them kind of coming out in all different directions. So I'm just cutting the stem off with my little floral scissors there from the Dollar Tree and just kind of spreading those around into the Spanish moss until it looks really nice. I really like the contrast of the Easter decorations and those gold eggs with the palm fronds. I think that looks really fun and tropical. So we'll put the last one over here. Again, just kind of piling the eggs kind of wherever they're going to go. Very random. They do have holes in them, so I tried to keep the holes down. Then I thought I would use some of that fun ribbon that we used on our DIY that kind of looks like the fishing net to kind of tie that in together with that project that's going to be hanging on the wall next to it. And I'm just going to use 2 pieces of that ribbon, kind of have them go different directions, just to add another little fun texture and tropical touch to this little centerpiece. This was so much fun to put together, and I just absolutely love how it turned out. So fun. And the eggs are kind of falling out on me there because they're so lightweight. But then I thought I would take it up a notch and decorate it with some more tropical things. So we're going to use a sand dollar that I got at Dollar Tree last year and some of my starfish that I get on Amazon. Like maybe 2 starfish, 1 sand dollar. They look so cute in there with the little eggs. Just kind of randomly thrown in. Kind of arranging until everything kind of looks even. And then I do add 1 seashell. And I think that is good. I think this is going to look so cute sitting on my table for Easter. I love the neutral colors, and I think it looks really beachy. This is how it turned out. Okay, guys, are you ready for the final reveal? Thank you so much for watching, and happy Easter!
I'm driving, you're smiling, just really doing nothing. That's the thing I like about you. On the highway, it's our way, Route 66, and we keep on driving. We just do what we wanna do. Yeah, no, nothing's complicated with you. Hey, playing songs on the radio, sing along to the words that we don't know. House brings out the wild ones. Let's just run away. Yeah, I could drive the whole night long. Being with you is like being on the rodeo. House brings out the wild ones. I got a little crush on you. You say that I'm crazy. It's just the way that I get every time that I am with you. Your laughter takes me to heaven. I just wanna make you repeat it and repeat